Hello and welcome to IWTA, Inspiring Women in Travel Asia. I'm Michaela Connor, co-hosting this week's episode with the amazing Dr. Avita Khawas, who wears many hats like travel professional, heritage walk expert, skilled trainer in hospitality and tourism, also a guest faculty at universities, international tour guide, and owner and director of WalkaroundIndia. Please help us welcome Dr. Avita today. A warm welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Why don't we start? Why don't we start with hearing more about you and your background?
Yeah. First of all, warm namaskar, Michelle, and thank you for having me in Travel Inspiring Women platform, and it's a great honor to be part of that. Although I still feel that I'm still not in the position to speak, and I'm still consider myself as a learner, but it is always good to connect with the people from different community and share your experiences. Okay. So yeah, let's begin with, as you have asked, that what's my background is and where I'm from and how did this walk around India happen. So I'll take you a little bit into that. I belong to a Marwari family. So when I say that Marwari family, it belongs to the Rajasthan. So Rajasthan is in the western part of India. So I belong from there. The Jodhpur is the city where I was born and brought up. So, you know, I have those Rajasthani traditions into it. And, you know, while growing up in the western part of Rajasthan or western part of India, you can say that we are very culturally rich and traditionally rich people. We have lots of customs, we have lots of rituals to follow. We have, you know, a different variety of clothing for every occasions. We have different prayers, we have different festivals. So it is like a complete package in itself. So that's how my upbringing has been over the period of time, you know, engraving all those traditionals and cultural aspects into my personality. And also owing to the fact that I come from a very, you can say that educated family. My grandfather was professor of economics. My father was principal in school, and my grandmother was also principal. So there were some doctors, there were engineers. So we have a very open and educative kind of backgrounds, a mixed of culture, religion, you can say that. So it's a very good upbringing, and I'm blessed to have all of this in my childhood. And yes, so this is a little bit about your core personality this is like who I am. And then over the years, you know, when I was in 12th and in my graduation, I have attended one of the conferences wherein, you know, they talk about various tourism businesses. So and I was very naive and young, and I didn't know what that tourism, you know, as a word itself is. Although I was aware about the hospitality courses, that hotel management courses, where it is F&B service, where you can become a chef. So that very designated, you know, so you know what you have to do. But when you talk about tourism, and many a times people ask that what is there in the tourism, what you're supposed to do. So there are n number of things, you know, and tourism is like kind of interlinked with everything. So that kind of conference gave me an insight. Okay, this is something that can be pursued upon and you know, can be searched upon, and area that has fascinated you. So, and being I personally feel that I'm very hospitable. Maybe it is just something, a virtue that I adapted from Rajasthan. Rajasthani people are very hospitable. So we love to interact. The social interaction is very much a part of our culture. So I felt that there is something, either hospitality or tourism, I may fit into, because, you know, that's a very career shaping path of your life after graduation. When you are, you can say that in your late teens and early 20s. So you have to mix your interest, your passion, and your education to shape up your career. And that's very, very important. Otherwise, you know, after some time, if you're not following your passion, you drop down. If you are, you know, following your career and it's not mixed to your passion, you drop down. So that those are, very important years, I would say. And yeah, I got to attend, got the opportunity to attend that particular seminar, and yeah, and then I decided to pursue my education further in tourism. So I did my master's in tourism with honors, and then I did my master's in human resource management as well, MBA, because this tourism and human resource are like kind of connected together. And then further, I did my PhD in heritage tourism. So this is all
Wow.
about like how my education has shaped up my career.
Yeah. So you found your passion in the tourist industry?
I would not say that I have found my passion in the tourism industry initially. My passion was more into teaching. So I don't know, maybe it is something that I have adopted from my, parental house, because my grandfather was professor, my father was a principal. So there is some kind of academic inclination. And to be very frank, I didn't know much about what to do in tourism. So I knew that, okay, I have to take an academic path, and I have to become a teacher, or maybe a professor, or maybe a skill trainer. You have to impart something. But when you talk about you have to impart something, you have to have something for that. So that my till PhD journey was like that. Then I've been associated with many university, and I've trained to many airlines as well, and worked with few travel agencies, so that I'm well equipped to deliver what I wanted to deliver. And in the process of equipping myself with the experiences, whether it is in academics, whether it is in travel trade, whether if I'm doing some training somewhere, it has opened a kind of a platform of opportunities, that this is all can be done, or this is what actually tourism can be explored. So these are the various opportunities I can look into it. And yeah, so this is how the walk around India happens eventually.
So what was it about teaching in the tourism sector that you felt passionate about? Because you talked about your upbringing, and you mentioned that you come from a family with rich culture and rich traditions, and obviously a family that are very educated. So education is important in your family, seems like. And then you kind of almost like mixed that culture and traditions and the passion for that, and the being proud of that with the teaching side. So at what point in life did you think, oh, actually, I can put that together with that, and then I can now teach that?
Yeah. So that that happened during my PhD. So PhD, it requires lots of hard work and lots of patience. So during my PhD, or you can say that my field work, I got to interact with different tourists, to fill the questionnaire and do the research work. So you have to be there on the field. So I have completed my PhD in 5 long years. So, I was completely there on field 5 long years. I have not taken any kind of, teaching assignment. I was completely dedicated into that. So while I was doing my PhD, I've interacted with lots of tourists, you can say that, and of different regions. So it is a kind of comparative study between the 2 regions of Rajasthan. So I had to interview lots of tourists, and there I find out that each and every tourist has a very different need. Now you cannot sell one package to 2 different people. Like, these days it is happening that every person that I come across has a very different travel need. Some may be traveling for spiritual purpose, some it is religious, some it is leisure, some it is like, adventure, some it is educational. So each and every tourist, or you can say that person I come across, has a very different mindset of, how they wanted to travel. So this is something that has hit me initially, that, okay, the travel should be different for every person, whether he is a kid of 5 years or for a person of aged like 50 years in a group. So you cannot mix 2 things together. And the other thing that people suggested me that, Avita, why don't you conduct tours? Because obviously doing your PhD, your passion for teaching, explaining things makes lots of sense. So then in my PhD as well, I have inculcated that guiding just is not about the oral representation of what you see. It is a kind of visual representation as well, and kind of storytelling mixed up with that. So then I started the particular place or the architecture with the help of pictures, with the help of videos, so that people kind of like authenticate, okay, whatever the person is telling, it is genuine, and they take them back along that particular story. So that is something that I have experimented during my PhD thing. So these are two particular things that I found out that I am good at. That okay, I'm good at explaining, and I am good at finding out what a person needs. And in the course of that particular time, I have made many itineraries of the travelers. They were international travelers, completely free of cost, and then I took few guiding assignments as well to take them around India as well, to take them around Rajasthan and other states as well. So this is like kind of whole of a experiment that happened, and it's a very gradual thing. So after my PhD was over, then I started getting lots of assignments that Avita, we are here in Chandigarh and we want you to be take us there. Then people are like, we are in Pondicherry, we want you to be there. Then people are like, we are in Rajasthan and we want you there, and why don't you design your itinerary? Then from national we shifted to international. So then I've taken assignments for UAE. In Dubai we were there for 1.5 months and taking few these guiding assignments. And again, the difference is that designing different itineraries, showcasing a different perspective of a city. Although the city is same, the tourist places are the same, but how you are taking them along, what story you are telling them. So that is all like it all happened eventually, very organically, very systematically, I would say. So there is not something that I suddenly came into my mind that okay, I have to do this. No, it is years of experience in education and experiments that lead to the conceptualization of Walk Around India in 2013. So in 13, I have like decided, okay, I have to do something about it. Then I started collaborating with various NGOs, because again, we wanted to be confident enough that, okay, whatever we are delivering, it should be deliverable and it is worth it. So I always believe in that philosophy. So then I worked with few NGOs and taken a few assignments, and it went well. And then I think by 17 or 18 onwards, we are full-fledged working on our own. So we do itinerary designing, we do your tour package designing, we do your guiding, and we mix up different itineraries and, for your travel. And we don't sell any packages. People often come to us and tell us, Avita, is there any Dubai package, or is there any Europe package, or is there any, India package you would like to, offer? Then I simply say we don't offer any package. You just have a chit chat with us, maybe on email. You drop us some of your interest, and then we design an itinerary according to that, and then we will give it to you. So this is all Walk Around India is, and we specialize in architecture. So our focus is basically architecture, and along with your tourism and leisure and culture, whatever your interests are. But we focus more on explaining the architecture of places and buildings and the monuments, whatever comes along.
I just love how you mix, because you said you also did a human resources degree, and it sounds like when you talk, you're really passionate about people and you're really passionate about your heritage, and you kind of mix the two, because through being interested in people, you get to really showcase, your beautiful country. So you focus on architecture, you said. Why is that a focus? Where did that idea come from, that was kind of where you wanted to?
Again, coming from the travel background, again you can say that, and doing lots of research in that, and since time unknown we know that travel is always for a purpose. You travel for a purpose. Earlier it was religious, it was spiritual, more of a people wanted to find themselves up, they go to different culture, and they wanted to have something. So travel is always associated with culture. But over the period of time, the tourism, or you can say that travel, is more like a commercialized in the sense that you go to a particular place, it's something they are offering. You go to the hotel, you go to the tourist places, and you come back. You even didn't know the history of it, you didn't know the geography of it, didn't know what particular place is designed for. So we need to put emphasis on making travel more purposeful, and that can only be happen when we know about the kind of architecture that particular place holds. It's very similar to your house. For example, when I come to your house, you will probably show me, okay, I took 5 long years to design this house. This is my favorite shelf. This is something I bought from India. This is something I bought from this local market. And each and every, maybe you can say, this is a window I have broken 10 times and then I have reconstructed it. This is the door, you may have a story of that particular door. So when someone leaves that particular, your house, so they have your story intact with you. And whenever next time they come, okay, this is the window broken. You have taken up the new door handle or something. Even the smallest of the furniture speaks volumes about the history. So we are not focusing more on the history because it gets sometimes boring and people kind of forgot. But architecture is something that you see physically, that is something physically present. And India is rich in, heritage, whether you talk about the heritage or the modern heritage. So we have lots of architectural masterpieces in the forms of temples, forts, palaces, cities. So that speaks volume, and that is something that you take long. So if you are there with me and I'll be taking you on a tour, so I make sure you know the basics of the architecture, and once the tour is complete, you feel like, okay, I know this city very well. I know the roundabouts, I know why this city is being designed. So that is how the architecture helps shape your travel. So that is why we focus more on architecture. And
it's
also,
education as well, right? So you talked about your family being passionate about education. I can see that in you as well, that obviously you're teaching visitors something about your country or wherever it is that they're visiting. And you also a guest faculty in university.
Yes, I'm also associated with, as a guest faculty in Punjab University. It is one of the oldest universities in the history of India, and it existed before partition as well. And so, yes, I'm associated with that. And, I always wanted to be linked with next generation, or you can say that Gen Z. I always wanted to hold them together because, they always have a different perspective, what actually they see, how the travel means to them, what new ideas they have. So it's always good to be associated with younger generation, and that gives me lots of energy. It's an idea sharing, and, I can say that I'm still learning. So I'm still learning from them. So that is something I always wanted to do, although it sometimes makes it very hectic to me, the morning routine with the family and all that. And then you're going to take a few lectures, and then you have your office, and then you have your travel schedule. But I always make sure that I always take up the classes and the fulfilling and enriching classes. So that is something, and again, teaching is something very dear to me. So, and yes, the new generation always have, beautiful ideas and different ideas.
I agree. Lots of energy. If I ever asked one of your student groups, describe Dr. Avita's teaching in 5 words, or describe Dr. Avita in 5 words, what do you think they would say about you?
I think you need to ask them.
Take a guess. How do you think they would describe the way you teach, or your personality?
First of all, they'll say that I am very strict. I'm very strict. I'm very punctual. So these are, I think, the 2 qualities they'll always focus on.
Yeah.
So that's something from my side I can add. Rest, I think few points they'll tell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when you have to utilize time to its maximum potential, you cannot you cannot have time to, you know, dilute that. So in that sense, my time is very precious. So I make sure that I'm always on time. I always leave on time, and I'm very strict with all their assignments, lectures, and whatever the things are. So I
Yeah.
think these two qualities probably they should speak.
Yeah. I think they might mention passionate as well. I have a feeling. I don't know you students, but I think they might mention that. Now,
Yeah.
Tarai, obviously you have a lot of experience, a lot of learnings. I can hear you've been involved in many different things that's kind of shaped the path that you're on today. What has been your biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge, I think, probably is to take up that step personally. You know, you may have lots of ideas in mind and you wanted to do something. So the biggest step is the first step. Whether you wanted to do your PhD, whether you wanted to, you know, give up on PhD, whether you wanted to open your travel agency, whether you wanted to juggle up between 3 jobs and family. So it is always your choice, and you have to take that first step. So whether it is for the men, women, boys, girls, whomsoever out there is, you have to take the first step. So I think that's the biggest challenge, and then rest becomes easy. You know, when you are mentally prepared, okay, I have taken up the first step, and then you are ready to overcome the challenges. So there are lots of challenges that you feel, and still today I feel lots of challenges. Challenges are not going anywhere. There are like every step. But taking the first step is always important. Leaving your comfort zone is important.
So what helped you leave your comfort zone? What was it that kind of pushed you to take that first step?
Life is very short.
Yeah.
And I always believe in adding lots of experiences to my life. I do not want a very comfortable life. I don't know why it is a personal virtue or something, but I'm very happy moving or hopping to different countries or moving to different places. Or maybe over the period of time, maybe I have adapted this particular quality. So, you know, then you're not anyways on your comfort zone. So one day you're staying at a luxurious hotel, another day you're staying at a you're backpacking and you're staying in a hostel dormitory. So that is something travel always keeps you on your toes. So yeah, that is something you can say that.
So to kind of embrace challenges or you know, push yourself outside the comfort zone. I agree, it's very difficult to do, but oh my God, it's amazing once you do it, right? Do you have people in your life that you kind of go to? What kind of support network do you have? Or maybe someone that really inspires you, that helps you be brave and courageous at times when you feel like, oh no, I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Okay. If you talk about the support, I think I would like to talk a lot in that, because when a female or a woman moves out from the house, right from the house help you have from the neighbors, from the friends, from the relatives, and the professional colleagues, everyone is a part of that. So probably if you see me as Dr. Avita Khawas, the director, Walk Around India, and whatever it is, so it's not single me. It's never a singular person. It's a kind of maybe 500 or 100 females supporting me to reach that. Maybe I have a sudden travel call and my daughter is at home, then I need to call up my friend. Okay, can you pick her up and take care with, you have to be with her. And she did that. Many a times that it happens that I am at an international travel, my husband is not there, my parents are with me. So, you know, again, my parents are playing very important role, both sides of parents. Then their friends, then their professional colleagues, then my house helps, then all my moms, all the neighbors, those who know that, okay, I'm working, if something happens, they're there to take care. Then your friends. Okay, so I think I would like to give a shout out to all the women around me or everyone, whether you are a mom, you are a sister, friend, colleague, professional colleague, whomsoever around you, they are always like gives you kind of a push up. Okay, go ahead. We are there. Because, having a family and managing your family and doing work together, it requires lots of support. So it requires supports mentally, physically, emotionally. So these are the kind of people like always there. So it's never be a singular job. So I would like to thank all of them, all the beautiful women out there in my lives, my friends, my relatives, my moms, both sides of moms, dads, friends, or anyone's name maybe I have missed out, but I would like to thank wholeheartedly to them that they are always there so that I can move forward. Even if I feel like, okay, I need some rest or something, I go into my shell. 2 days I don't talk to, or maybe I'm moody, or I may cry, or maybe I take my time, but again I come back stronger. So that is something I'm thankful for, I'm grateful for. And these are the people who always push me ahead.
Yeah, that's great. It's so important to have your support network that can be there for you at those times. The highs and the lows of life, right? It's so important. Yes. And what has been, your biggest learnings? Maybe there was something that you felt like, oh, this is just not going to work. I'm trying, but it was like the biggest learnings in life so far that you can look back on now and say, it happened for a reason.
Biggest learning in life are failures. There are going to be failures. It's not like that everything comes in a platter to you. There are going to be failures, not one time, but many a time there are failures. Professionally you fail, academically you fail, personally you fail. So there are lots of failures. And when I look back and, I may say that there are a number of failures I have overcome it. So at some point of time, I didn't know that I was able to make up to the entrance of my Masters of Tourism or not. So I still remember feeling those goosebumps when I got, okay, finally I got an admission into the reputed university. Then it happened with my PhD, I did everything, and there was a sudden demise of my guide. So there is something, a setback that you don't want to do. Then you move to another city, and then you don't know how to do your PhD. Then you are giving entrances to different universities, and you're waiting. So whatever you see today, it comes with lots of failures. Even with Walk Around India, we have lots of failures, financial losses. You can say that I may have shaken up my confidence while speaking to someone more experienced. So everything has happened. So there are lots of failures. Failures are something failures are something you can say that they have taught me lots of good lessons. They have taught me patience, and they always teach me to again move forward.
How do you learn to embrace failures? Like, how do you learn the difference between not like beating yourself up that you're not good enough, that's why it didn't work, to, okay, this was interesting, I learned from this, now I'm going to try in a different way? How did you learn? Like, what advice would you give to other women and men how to embrace failures?
If you talk about it, it's very easy to talk that how to embrace failures. But personally, it is very, very difficult to embrace failures. And I would like to give suggestion that it is a very individualistic approach. Sometimes you may have a support system in terms of your family, sometimes in terms of your friends, sometimes you are like self-motivated person. So whatever suits you, whatever is positive around you, take help, ask for help. This is something very, very important. Ask for help. Don't feel like, okay, I should not tell anyone. This is something I fail and, people will laugh at. No, that is something not. You have to embrace your failures. You have to discuss your financial losses. Maybe someone who's more experienced to you. Maybe if you wanted to take up the next step, you must hire some people. You may require lots of good team. So always take your time, be around the people who feel like, who appreciates you and help you overcome those failures. And don't shy in asking for help. You cannot, alone, you cannot do anything. So you need to have help around you. So that is something, the two advice I would personally give: ask for help,
Yeah,
and have a good team and positive team around you.
that is very good advice. If you were to go back in time and give yourself some advice when you were, early 20s, or, just your younger self, what advice would you give yourself now that you're wiser?
Okay. Advice I would like to give, maybe to calm down, to have a little peace, enjoy. So this is something maybe I should give this advice to be maybe younger self. Maybe I enjoy these days more. Maybe I've struggled a lot in my earlier days, but yeah, I should have a little bit more calmer, and I should have enjoyed a little bit more. So yeah, rest, I don't have any regrets in life, but yeah, I was very much into, okay, I have to do this, the time is passing, I have to do this, which is eventually good, because those are the initial important years of your career shaping years of your life, which I'm very proud of it, that I have utilized in a very good manner, wherein people still figure out what they have to do and all that. So probably there is no confusion, or there is no comparison, but there is something, the part of my life which I'm very proud of, is that those years where I have not stopped and keep going. So maybe I'm enjoying more life now, and more calmer now, and
being present.
Yeah, being present.
Yeah, that's great advice. That's great advice. And what's in the future for you? What goals or vision do you have for the next 5 years? What would you like to achieve?
There is one principle that I always focused in my life, is one step at a time. So, that actually helped me a lot. So I probably don't know what I'm going to do in next 5 years, but I'll be doing something. So the book writing, I'm very much into it. So we are into it. So Walk Around India will soon have its range of books coming up. So we will have, that thing in our pipeline. We have internationally expanded. So we have our tours all across now globe. Europe we are already conducting, but we are trying to cover other continents as well. So that is something in pipeline. Earlier, we were catering to only few states to India, but now we have collaborated and we are catering to all the states of India. So there is a lot to do, but yeah, it is just like one step at a time.
But those things that you've just mentioned sounds like amazing steps for, for growth. Yeah, that's fantastic. We're towards the end of our interviews. I have one more question. It's a little bit random, but I'm gonna ask it because I'm curious. Yes. If you were a superhero, which superhero would you be and why?
Okay. Oh, that's that will take a little bit of moment to maybe think for a while. I'll go for Wonder Woman.
Oh, okay. And why Wonder Woman?
Being first of all, one step at a time. She's very kind.
Yeah.
She believes in kind of saving humanity, and there is always a purpose involved in what she's doing. So yeah, I will select up that because there are two things I can relate to, that okay, serving for a purpose and serving humanity. So travel also does the same thing, it serves you a purpose, and yeah, it saves the humanity as well. So I think I can relate a little bit to Wonder Woman, and also she is beautiful, so beautiful, smart, so that adds a little bit to it.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love Wonder Woman. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Avita, for your time today. I've learned so much from you, and I know your story will inspire others to take that next step. It's my biggest takeaway is, just one step at a time, and surround yourself with people that can support you take that step. And I am very excited to be following your next steps via LinkedIn.
Sure.
When I come and visit, your region, I will make sure I hire the best tour guide, which is clearly you. So I'm looking forward to hopefully see you face to face sometime in the future as well.
Sure. We'll definitely wait for that.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Avita.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
Yeah, bye.